Hello and welcome to your Meet the Coach interviews for Season 6 of the GBA. I am KantoCastBlue, and today I am joined by someone you guys are all pretty familiar with, I am sure. Not only is he a streamer, a PokeTuber, and the king of shiny hunting, he is also your GBA Season 5 champion. I am talking about the one, the only, Dan, aka aDrive, the coach of the New York Metapods for Season 6. Dan, welcome.
Wow, talk about an introduction, man. I'm like, man, that guy sounds pretty awesome. Oh, wait. What's going on, guys? I'm really excited to be doing this interview, guys. Getting really stoked to kick off Season 6 here, coming up very soon. And I'm just hyped, man. Thanks for taking the time to do these interviews. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I know that you are particularly busy. Not only that, you're getting married soon, so congratulations to that.
Thank you.
You're taking the internet by storm, basically. That's the easiest way to put it. But let's get right on into the questions, because that is what everybody is here for. First off, what was your first Pokemon experience?
My first Pokemon experience goes back to the original Red and Blue version. Everyone was playing Pokemon Red and Blue when it first came out, and I remember getting it on release date. It was actually funny, as my sister, who's 7 years older than me, she also had a Game Boy and was playing, Pokemon Red and Blue. And I remember trying the game at first and not knowing what to do. Like, I didn't know you had to now, I was like 6 years old, right? But I didn't know you had to walk into the grass and have the professor prompt the storyline, etc. So I played it for 5 minutes, and I was like, this is boring. How do I play the game? And then my sister finally showed me how to get my first Pokemon, and from there, I went at 6 years old, I completed the Pokedex, and did the whole missing no glitch, and, beat the whole game, and just fell in love with the series.
So did you actually start with Red or Blue?
I believe my first game was Red, and my first starter was Squirtle, but I've played through that game so many times and tried all the starters, and I just have so much love for all three of them, Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, but I had a huge fascination with turtles at the time, so it kind of fit with that.
That's fantastic. So how long have you been playing competitively then?
I started competitive and getting into competitive Pokemon, and a lot of people don't know this, but back in Pokemon Emerald, so 3rd generation, I started doing some breeding. I remember breeding a Bidoof and a Bibarel. I got a 3IV Bibarel, and I was like, oh my god, I could use this to breed. And that's kind of what I got introduced into Smogon, and I would do competitive matches through, they had the Battle Frontier, of course, in Emerald, and I would do, Pokemon Online and Shoddy Battle, which were the simulators before Pokemon Showdown, and I would play on those every single day, to the point where I would be playing, throughout college. In my college marketing classes, I was playing Showdown the entire time, and, still managed to graduate with a good GPA, so I've been into competitive for a really long time, and just never really showcased it. I always did different things on my channel and stuff, and just played competitive for fun, and it's been really fun to be able to test my skills, I guess, against some of the best players in the GBA.
Yeah, I mean, Gen 3 I feel like is when competitive really took off. I think that's when they had that Across America tour thing where they had maybe 5 tournaments and then that was it. But that was a long time ago. So you've been doing this for a while. You mentioned that you were playing Smogon and stuff like that. Do you play any other tiers, formats or anything like that? Or, are you just a league guy primarily?
So that's how I actually got started. My bread and butter back in the day was NU. I played NU more than probably the majority of the people, and that's what I would rank on Pokemon Online and Shoddy Battle and Showdown and stuff. I was playing NU nonstop. I just love the tier. I loved using Pokemon like Shedinja and Kangaskhan and War Turtle, and even Serperior was in the tier at the time, which is hilarious to think about now. And I just fell in love with NU, and I always loved the idea of using Pokemon that, weren't that powerful. I've never been a big fan of legendaries and using them in battle, and, I just felt that by playing the lower tiers, you were able to kind of be really creative, and I think that's actually what led to where I'm at now, is just being really unique and creative with the sets, and I think NU and the lower tiers allow you to do that, because there's, I guess, less of a gap between the good Pokemon and the bad Pokemon. Everything is just bad, pretty much, so, for the most part. So it allows you to kind of be a little bit more creative, and now, currently, I don't really do too much. I mean, I hop on Showdown every day, and I play 2 or 3 matches a day, just to kind of, dust the rust off or whatever, but, or whatever it is. But, I mostly focus on the counter team format right now, and I do plan on getting more into, regular Wi-Fi battles and stuff in the next coming weeks as the GBA Season 6 closes in, but I don't do too much of that anymore, just kind of casually now.
All right, cool. I definitely feel you on the lower tiers. Noctowl is my jam.
Oh, man. Love it.
It does
Nightshade Toxic Protect?
Yeah, exactly. It cannot go anywhere above NU, I think. UU, it would get destroyed. But Filter is never an ability that you should Or no, is it tinted lens?
Tinted lens, yeah, tinted lens.
Tinted lens is an ability you should never underestimate. So, what is your game plan when getting ready to draft? Do you look at, like, utility mons? Do you draft for power? Do you kind of, like, try and set up a defensive core without giving away too much of your plan here? Like, what's your go-to?
So I'll say this, in the previous seasons, I really didn't plan too much going into the draft because when you have 16 teams, it's very challenging to, make a concrete draft plan and then have it not get foiled, especially when you're relying on so many different Pokemon to create a certain team. But generally speaking, kind of going into a draft and going into this season's draft, having known that I'm franchising Victini, my focus is to build a team to complement Victini as well as possible. I know that Pokemon is one of the best Pokemon in the format. It's such a good nuke and wall breaker. So really, when it comes to the draft strategy, I always try to focus on, trying to take the best that's available that I feel comfortable with, but trying to build around synergy from the first pick. I think a lot of times people, when they draft, they'll say, hey, I want to grab, this Pokemon's on the board, it's really good, I might as well just draft it. But to me, I really try to make each pick kind of work with the previous one to really give, the proper typing on the team, to ensure that I've covered all the things I want to cover from a type perspective, to not only, weaknesses and resistances and things like that, kind of taking advantage of abilities and roles that I want to fill. So, defensive core is definitely a focus, as you saw in GBA Season 4, and even Season 5, I really wanted that, Fairy Dragon Steel core, and that's what I focused towards. So I have a general idea going into the draft of what I want, and I make a list of all the Pokemon that I'm interested in, but things change throughout the draft typically, and I don't really ever put anything too concrete, because so much can change when the picks start flying through,
Absolutely, and I think you made us all a believer last season when you used Mega Aggron the way that you did. I know when I first saw the draft happen, I was like, Mega Aggron? Really? You sure? And then, Season 5 champion. Can't really argue with that. So, I feel like I have an idea of your answer to this next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway just for continuity purposes. If there was such a Pokemon, which one would you draft over and over again because you can't live without it or because it's literally just that good?
That's tough. It kind of going back. Let me go back to the other question a little bit really quickly in terms of draft strategy, because I did want to bring up this point because I think it's very important to talk about. And one of the things I really focus on is when I'm drafting, I try to pick a team and pick Pokemon that I think I could bring every single week. Now, there's certain Pokemon that can do that every week, and there's certain that can, obviously, and you would think, the higher tier Pokemon are like that, but there's some mid-tier, low-tier Pokemon that can really be brought every single week, and I think that's very important to focus on in drafting. So anyway, kind of going back to your actual question here, if there was a Pokemon that I would draft over and over again because I can't live without it because it's so good, I'm going to say Chansey, man. I value Chansey so incredibly high, and I know a lot of people get frustrated because of how stally it is and how bulky it is, and it's often looked at as being like one of the most hated Pokemon in the format, and I totally get it. I understand. People don't want to deal with stall, but at the end of the day, stall and defense is the most reliable playstyle in competitive format. I don't think that can really be argued. Over the course of a large amount of battles, stall and bulk will typically win more, especially if you have the right team to eliminate the proper threats. But Chansey, for example, is in my mind is just so good at the role it fills. There's not another Pokemon that can compare. It stops special attackers 1,000,000% of the time. Like there's maybe 1-2 exceptions in the format that can beat Chansey that are special attackers. So you're bringing Chansey every single week, and it makes the team building process so much easier, and it makes the competitive side of things so much easier because you don't have to stress about what Pokemon I'm bringing. And yeah, it makes you a little predictable from the opponent's end, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's such a good Pokemon. So I don't know if I'll be able to draft Chansey this season coming up, but it is a Pokemon that I value incredibly highly, not as a first-round pick, but as a Pokemon that I think just really changes the dynamic of a team because it protects you so much against, special attackers. It just shuts them down entirely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it pretty much speaks for itself when you see a Chansey. You know it's going to have Eviolite. You know what its moveset primarily is going to be. It's definitely carrying Soft Boiled, probably Toxic, probably Seismic Toss. And yet, it's so hard to take down every single time. If anything's going to go up against a Tail Glow Manaphy, it's Chansey. Even in other formats, like I play a lot of VGC, Minimize Chansey is the devil. Like, it doesn't matter what format you're playing, Chansey is definitely an issue for anybody to go up against. So I absolutely agree. And I don't think many people would disagree with you either, actually. So yeah, Chansey, excellent choice there.
Yeah, it's just so good, man. It's just so good.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So I guess kind of like moving on to more GBA-oriented questions. The first one I've got for you is, what made you want to join the GBA?
All right, so when I first started Pokemon content creating, which was about the tail end of summer in 2014, so we're closing on about 2 years from today or whatever, roughly. I was doing, I was doing mostly shiny hunting, and that was kind of my introduction to the Pokemon scene. And Steve actually is from Connecticut, just like myself, and I was a big fan of Steve's, and still am. I used to watch his battles, and even though I didn't contribute as a content creator to the Pokemon community, I had been watching it for years and years and years, from battles from Hayden to Steve, Magnitude, and so many other people. I really enjoyed watching competitive Pokemon and playing it myself. And then Steve approached me and he said, hey man, like, you seem like a cool guy. You're obviously kind of an up-and-comer in the community, as he saw from my Twitch streams and stuff. Would you like to be a part of the GBA? And I kind of tossed back and forth about it for a little while, because I thought the format itself was great and it seemed really cool, but I was so against the idea of genning a Pokemon or hacking Pokemon that I didn't think it was going to be feasible for me to play in the format. Just to kind of, in case people don't know, in the competitive format, GBA, UCL, these kind of formats, people typically gen their Pokemon or create them in a program. There's a few exceptions like Hooper, but I try not to do that. I'm really against that in certain ways. But anyway, I went against my morals, I suppose, as cheesy as it sounds, and I decided I would give it a go. And I'm loving it, man. It was great. But really, it came down to Steve just being, super nice and welcoming to me and wanting me to be in the league, and me being like, hey, why not? I'll test my skills and see how it goes. It'll be a lot of fun. So.
Well, I think we can all thank you for sacrificing your integrity a little bit there, because it would be a very different world without the aDrive army, for sure. So, do you have a coach you're looking forward to playing the most this season?
Yeah, I really hope I have an opportunity to face Miguel again. For number one, I've played him 3 times now. He's beaten me all 3 times, but I feel that the most recent 2 times that we've played, I've had the opportunity to win the match, and I just didn't make the right moves towards the mid to end game, which happens. I mean, or you could say he made the amazing moves, whatever it is. I mean, obviously in GBA Season 4 championships, I think that is a little bit more on me, whereas our Week 1 Season 5 was a little bit more kind of him playing really well and me kind of choking a little bit. So I really want to have another opportunity to play him, because I consider Miguel to be, one of the best players in the format, and I want to test my skills against him. That was kind of one of the only bittersweet parts of last season, was the fact that I did win the championship, but I didn't get to beat Miguel. So that's kind of a bummer. And otherwise, MV is one of our new coaches. He's going to be the San Diego Chim Chargers, and I don't know how many people know this, but MV is actually one of my team building helpers, I guess you could say. Towards the tail end of last season, him and I started talking a lot and kind of developing a friendship, and he was helping me a lot in terms of building my teams for those last couple weeks and then into the playoffs. And I think it made a huge difference. I think he kind of brought out a different play style in me just through the team building and helping me be more aggressive. And I think I've carried that over, with and without his help now. But even so, I think he had such a huge impact on my battling. And just, like I said, just kind of helping me be just a little bit more aggressive with how I build and using threats like Salamence a little bit more offensively than I normally probably would have. And I think finally learning how to use wall breakers and stuff, like through guys like Envy and Poke-Aim and stuff like that, has really improved my game a lot. So I look forward to facing Envy if I get a chance this season, because I think he's gonna surprise a lot of people this season. He's very, very good at team building, and I honestly believe that in this format, team building is like 70% of the battle. So
absolutely, every coach in the GBA is solid. But is there a coach you're not looking forward to playing, someone you're dreading to get matched up against?
I think the only person that comes to mind, and I take on any challenge. Like, I don't consider myself to be the best in the league. I don't, none of that. I just want to have fun and challenge myself against the best competitors at the end of the day. But if there's one person who I think has kind of an upper hand against me and could beat me, is probably Sam, actually. Fufu, one of the new coaches. I think him and I play very similarly, and I think that actually causes more issues than not. I think I make a lot of really risky plays, and I'm willing to make those aggressive doubles and make those aggressive switches and things like that. And I think Sam is very similar in that, and he is a very, very good team builder. So I've only played him once, and he kind of destroyed me. So I definitely a little bit nervous facing him if I face him this season. I think he's very, very good. Every coach this league is insane. I mean, but at the end of the day, I'm just excited to play the matches, win or lose. I got my championship out of the way, so now it's a little bit more fun.
Absolutely. The pressure's off, but it's still on, but it's not there. So, all right, we're looking for some up-and-coming coaches here with MV and Sam, and I think we all definitely want to see the Miguel-Dan matchup again. That was actually my bold prediction last season, that you guys would meet in the final, and I was pretty bummed about that as well. But I think anytime you guys get matched up, it's insane. Head smash. Need I say more?
There it is, man. Poor Ploofy. Rest in peace, Ploofy.
So what are you most excited for during Season 6?
I think I'm most excited for the draft process, to be honest. I love drafting. I think it's really cool to, create this new team and really go super hard and trying to, be creative and coming up with a new team and getting to experiment with different Pokemon, really, because, like I said, I don't really play too much of the Smogon format, and to me, it's always fun to, try out a new Mega Evolution and see if I can make it work, and I think that's probably one of the best parts, is just getting that new team, getting that draft, and really getting to experiment and learn how to use these Pokemon throughout the season, because as you progress through the season, you use the Pokemon more, you kind of get more and more comfortable with it, you learn more about your own battling skills and learn more about what works for you and how you can play effectively and things like that. And I think in both seasons, Season 4 and Season 5, I demonstrated that I got more comfortable with the team and the Pokemon that I had, so it's definitely that, and using new Megas and stuff is always fun, getting an opportunity to use Mega Aggron last year when no one thought it was going to be any good, and Mega Sableye the year prior, which despite the fact that it's insane in standard format Smogon, I think it was a little bit looked down upon in terms of how it was viewed in the counter team format, but I think Sableye is pretty sweet too. So I think it's really cool to showcase these different Pokemon that might otherwise not get that much, spotlight and show them in a different way in this format and show how they can, perform at a high level.
Yeah, absolutely. So for this last kind of in-depth question, I'm going to need you to visualize for me. Draft is done. Divisions are set. Play has started. Realistically, where do you see yourself ending up at the end of the season?
To me, there's anything other than another championship is a failure this season, in my opinion. I think I have I don't want to sound like a cocky jerk right now, but I'm just being real. I want to win, man. I play the matches to win. I play for fun, but I want to win the matches. I really do. And I think the aDrive Army, the St. Louis Rampardos fans, the New York Metapods fans, they are growing and learning to expect that the aDrive Army is going to come out with a W every week, and I don't want to disappoint anyone. I want to come out and try to head smash our opponents or hit them with a hard in or whatever it's going to be, and I think that I want to be the first guy to ever win 2 back-to-back championships, so I don't want to let that slip me by. I think the competition this season is going to be no joke. It's going to be the hardest season that any of us have ever had, but I'm excited for the challenge, and at the end of the day, like I said, win or lose, it'll be fun, but I really want to make it to the championship again, and I really think that we're going to be able to. I think that the team I'm going to draft, the ideas I have, are going to be a little bit more creative, I think, than the previous seasons, because I did win that one championship, so now it's a little less pressure. But I'm going for the gold, man. I want that championship again.
There you go, guys. Bold words, but if anybody can back them up, it's probably.
I mean, 2 in a row. It's 2 in a row, man. I got to go 3 in a row now, right?
I mean, why stop there? Go 5. We'll just skip over 4. Go to 5.
See, if you factor in the other leagues, I've actually been to 5 championships in a row. So. I mean, UCL, GBA, so we'll see. I think either way, like I said, I don't want to downplay the competition, guys. The guys in this league are insane. Everyone is so good. So if I honestly go above 500, I'll be hyped. You know what I mean? I want to win. I want to win the championship, but I'm kind of contradicting myself now. But it's all good, man. It's all in good fun, and I think you guys, the GBA fans out there, are going to be really excited because these matches every week are going to be amazing.
All right, so to close out this interview, we're moving into Phase 3, as I call it, for the lightning round, no thinking, just answering questions. You're going to be faced with 2 options, and without thinking, you got to pick one and move on, and it's going to get us inside the head of aDrive.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Cartridge or Showdown?
Cartridge.
Oris or XY?
X and Y.
Sweep or Stall?
Stall.
Hoenn or Sinnoh?
Hoenn.
Livecom or Postcom?
Livecom for myself, but I enjoy watching postcoms.
That's fair. Toxic or Will-O-Wisp?
Ooh, Toxic.
Volt Switch or U-Turn?
U-Turn.
Competitive or Defiant?
Oh man, I don't know. Competitive.
Acrobike or Mach Bike?
Acrobike. Wheelies, baby.
Play competitive or play for fun?
Competitive.
Technical team or creativity?
Creativity.
Trade or free agency?
Free agency.
And finally, GG or rage quit?
GG.
See, always the sportsman, this Dan character is. Dan, thanks so much for spending some time with us today. If you guys want to find out more about Dan and the New York Metapods, all his links will be in the description below. Jump on the aDrive bandwagon. I'm telling you guys, get on it early, because if anyone could win back-to-back championships, it's this guy. I'm telling you. It could happen. We're
going to try to make it happen. It's going to be fun. Like I said, at the end of the day, the competition's going to be unreal. It's going to be so much fun. Guys, I encourage you guys to support not only, you know, all the coaches that are in the league, but definitely, you know, make sure you guys are checking out the GBA channel. I know yourself, Blue, and a bunch of other guys are putting in all the finest of work in terms of, you know, the different series we have going on. We got a new analytics or an analysis team. So we got a bunch of people who are going to be working on the GBA channel this season, guys. There's a lot to be excited for, and I'm just stoked to be a part of it all.
And you know what? We do what we can. We do what we can.
It's good, man. I appreciate it. So thank you, man, for taking the time to interview us.
Thank you. You are so polite. Thank you. Dan, thanks again. It has been an absolute pleasure.
All right, guys. I will see you guys in the GBA Season 6 Championship. That's going to be for me, guys. My name is Dan. I also go by aDrive. Peace.